You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS fluff or overused jargon, just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the productivity specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 235, Coachable and Actionable, an entrepreneurial case study with Robyn Howard. If you're a business owner who wants to improve your time management and elevate your productivity so you can maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. I'm looking forward to having you meet our guest, Robyn. Robyn is a client of mine whom I wanted to highlight here on the podcast because, well, for a lot of reasons, but specifically, I really thought that her journey, her story, her honest account of what her business and life looked like prior to doing the work. And when I say doing the work, I mean showing up to be coached and taking action in her business. And you can hear about what that whole transition has been like, that whole journey, and where she's at today and what she's so excited for in the future. Robyn Howard is the owner of Top Level Content, a blog content writing agency that serves SEO and digital marketing agencies in developing content for their clients. Robyn also supports private clients with helping them develop and implement blog content strategies that increases visibility and sales through their CARE framework. Robyn's team has written over 2,500 blog articles that have helped their clients reach over 1.5 million organic visitors in the SERPs and hundreds of first-page SERP results. Hello, Robyn. Welcome to Productivity Straight Talk. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, Amber. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I am looking forward to our conversation. My favorite types of conversations are entrepreneurial case studies. And when I get to do those with clients, I think it's even more fascinating and interesting. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Before we jump into the main part of our interview, I would love for you to share with our audience, like your own journey of your business. So how long have you been in business? What was the evolution? Like, we'd love to hear a bit about that. And then if you want to share a bit about you personally as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started with blog content writing in 2009 when I had my own portfolio of information sites. So I'd hire writers to develop content for those sites and was doing extremely well in getting visibility to those sites. So at one point, one of the sites in our portfolio was getting over 100,000 visitors a month. And that was really exciting. So in 2012, I switched gears a little bit and I decided to get into another passion of mine, which was teaching. So I actually taught fourth and fifth graders from 2012 until 2014, when I quickly realized that teaching in an inner city school was actually not my passion. So in 2015, I got back into blog content writing with an online internship and was asked by the owner of that company to help him develop blog content for his portfolio of sites. And that was an amazing time. He introduced me to other companies that needed blog content writing services. And that's how Top Level Content developed. And we've transformed into this beautiful blog content writing agency that supports SEO and digital marketing companies source blog content for their clients. So in addition to running Top Level Content, I'm a wife and a mom of a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And when I'm not running Top Level Content and being a wife and mommy, you can find me immersed in my guilty pleasure. And I'm almost, kind of, I don't want to share it, but it is reality TV. Anything from House Hunters to Real Housewives, that's my jam. And then also being obsessive compulsive about organizing, which seems to get a little bit worse as I get older.
Yes. Okay. So we actually have that in common. I call it my garbage TV. My husband doesn't understand it. And well, I don't understand his TV either. That's where we don't agree. But
I like to call sports reality TV.
It is. You know what? That's hilarious you say that, because when he's giving me a hard time, I'm like, why do you know all the drama behind all the players? Why does that matter? And why do I hear more about that than the actual game? Same thing. It is the reality TV. And for me, I don't know if this is for you as well, as like, I feel like my brain is always on. And when I watch what I call my garbage TV, reality TV, it's like, it's off. And I'm just able to zone out for an hour or 45 minutes and then come back to reality, sort of.
Absolutely love it, Amber.
Yes. Okay. All right. Awesome. And then the organization, I love to hear that as well. That's fun. So, all right. So that shares how you actually became a business owner. And so it sounds like to me, just like with many of my clients, is that you found out you had this special skill, this special talent, and you're like, I bet I could do this on my own. Right?
Yes.
And let's take this from when you started your own business. Talk to me about the journey before we met. So what was your experience? How did your team and agency evolve? Is there anything there you'd like to share with us?
Yes. So before I met you, Amber, we were a growing blog content agency. Things were going really well, except for the fact that I was completely overwhelmed. And I started searching for a productivity podcast, something to listen to just help me breathe just a little bit, because we had a full client load. But a lot of it was me doing the work. And I wanted to find something different for that. So I'm not sure exactly when I landed on your podcast, but I did. I listened for about 6 months before I started going on your website. And then I saw this email marketing course. Not email marketing. It was email processing or email management.
Conquer your email masterclass.
Amber. Like, everyone needs to take this course. It is life-changing. So the first thing that course taught me was how to stop fires, because I was not, kind of effectively running a business. I was going from fire to fire to fire to fire. And I did not know how to identify why that was happening. And it was starting in my email inbox. So using that course and the strategies in that course, amazing strategies, I was able to run my business more intentionally. So it freed up a little bit of time. And because of the success of that course, I said, I need more, of Amber. What is she doing? So I saw Leverage Lab. I joined Leverage Lab. And in Leverage Lab, you do just an awesome job of coaching, clients on calls based on, kind of what their needs are at that point. And I would remember asking, kind of a couple of questions on the call. And I'm just like, you know what? I need Amber all to myself. I don't want to share with all these other people. I mean, they're awesome, but I need you all to myself, because everything that you're giving me, it's working, like life is getting better. I'm more joyful and I enjoy that joyful work. And that's when I decided to work with you with your private coaching. But I'm not sure if you even remember this, when I first got on the phone with you, I'm just like, okay, Amber, this sounds great. Let me circle back with you in 6 months, because I want to see, kind of where things go with my sales coaching course. Because it was a great group of guys, still is. I'm still a part of that coaching program and I love it too. But I said, you know what, let me see what I can do here. And then I'll circle back with you in 6 months. About a week later, I reached out to you and I said, Amber, guess what I realized? In order to fully access that sales and marketing course, I need you to help me with productivity. So that's how we started working together. And I think like a month after that, we started working together, and it has been an amazing journey. So
oh my goodness. Wow. I'm so glad you remembered that whole evolution, right? So let's just unpack that a little bit. So first of all, the Conquer Your Email Masterclass. Thank you so much for, sharing your experience. And I've had hundreds and hundreds of business owners go through it with similar, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Nobody ever taught me how to actually interact with my inbox, except for it's the primary communication in my business. Right? When you think of it that way, you're like, so I was supposed to just be born knowing how to do this? No, it's a skill set. And would you agree that the masterclass strategies, while they were effective, were simple?
Yes, I would completely agree with that. And like you said, it's like a different language. It is a lot of the things that you share. It's simple, but I never would have thought about that on my own. And so you're able to implement it really fast within your business to get great results. But it's like a different language is you would not, have thought of that strategy.
Yes. And I just want to highlight that for anyone that's listening, because I think that sometimes it could be a bit intimidating to think, so I have to apply these strategies she's teaching or coaching and this and that. And you've been such a great example of someone that has been so coachable, and coupled with that, my goal is always to keep it simple. If simple works, do not overcomplicate. Nobody has time for that, right? Anyways, in the masterclass, that's one great example of where I'm like, okay, how can we make this as simple as possible, but have the impact that I desired for each of the people that take the program. Awesome. So when you decided to reach out and work with me privately, you had mentioned that your business, you had a full roster of clients, you're successful, but you're feeling overwhelmed. And so what was that doing for your business or life? Like, were you working around the clock? Were you, not able to grow the business or take it to the next level at that moment? Like, overwhelm is a feeling that we feel, but there's also often, negative side effects to that. So what were some of those things that you wanted to work through?
Definitely. So the major thing that the overwhelm was getting in the way of was having adequate time for marketing and sales. So I had revenue goals that I wanted to reach beyond what I was doing, even though I had a full client load. A lot of that was me servicing those clients. So I was restricted in how much I could grow because of that. So working with you and working through several, strategies, I was able to free up that time so that my team was better able to support me with our clients so that I could spend that time on marketing and sales. And let me just go back a little bit, because one of the things that you helped me with is previously with my agency, we were serving everybody. If you wanted blog content, we were there. And we could do it for you. So what that meant for me was there was a different strategy for each type of client. And one of the things that we worked on, which was amazing, was addition by subtraction. So I had to let go of some of those clients that didn't fit the model that we wanted to use to grow the agency. So that was the first part. So that freed up overwhelm, because then we went from servicing 4 types of clients to 2 types of clients. And when that happened, it supported my team. It helped my team support me in fulfillment for those clients, because there were only 2 different SOPs instead of 4 or 6 SOPs, or however many clients we had, a different way of working with those clients. So that was the first thing that we broke down. I had to get on the phone and fire some clients.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing about that was it actually increased revenue, because I was able to serve more and better the types of clients that we had awesome SOPs for.
Yes. Okay. That's what I was kind of, I'm so glad I didn't interrupt that, because that is like the winning thing, is that, it could be quite fearful. So it's not like Amber said, go fire your clients, by the way. Let's make sure the listeners aren't saying that.
No.
This is an evolution of conversations and coaching to say, okay, so what is keeping you working in the business and not having the ability to work on the business, right? So if we put that question out there in the coaching, I remember it was things like, well, because they don't know what to do, meaning they, the team, because I promised something different, or it was this exception client or this exception client. And as we know, if everything is an exception, it can't be automated, and the team truly doesn't have the information they need to take it over for you.
Exactly.
Yes. And then we were also looking at, okay, so what's the most profitable type of client was one question, but we never leave it with that. What type of clients do you love to serve, right? Like
exactly.
That, you used a word, joyful work. And when you can serve your clients in a way that you love to serve them, it does bring back that joyful work and reduce the stress. And so it's that double win of increased profits, decreased stress, all because you were willing to explore looking at your business model and making really radical changes with it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So that was really, really helpful. And then, what I saw from my end of coaching was everything seemed to click almost right after that, right? So you had, you're working with a sales coach and you're doing marketing and you're updating your own website. How much easier did everything feel when you were so clear about who you serve, how you serve them, and what that package looks like? In my experience, I was watching you just like rapidly move through action items after action items once that kind of stickiness went away.
Absolutely, Amber. And I think one of the things, one of my hangups that we had to get over was I said, well, I can help all people do these things. Like I know how to rank websites, with blog content. I know how to do it for multiple types of clients. But the thing there that stops you, that kind of gets in your way is now you need to learn how to speak. You need to create marketing to speak to all these different people instead of one. And that was a hard thing for me to learn.
Yeah.
And once we narrowed it down to 2, and then I even narrowed it down to 1. Let's market to one type of client. And once that happened, it just became so much easier. I was talking to one person. All the SOPs were, targeting one type of person. Our strategies, everything became easier because it was just one person instead of 4 different people trying to figure out how to talk to different types of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I actually remember one of our sessions, me saying, guess what, Robyn? I can actually help everybody with productivity too. I can help students, I can help stay-at-home moms, I can help professionals, and I can help business owners. And what a mess if I had to speak to all of them. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to have a podcast just speaking to one person, and nobody would feel like I was speaking right to them. And one of the secrets, so those of you that are listening to this episode, I think one of the secrets I'll share here is that in coaching, my style is that I bring like all of me, like there's like meaning all of my experience or things that I've stumbled through or examples out of my own life or business, as well as, other examples. But this one, I remember looking at you saying like, would you be working with me here now if I was a productivity coach for everybody? And
yeah.
Right. And probably not, because you identify as a business owner and you want to make sure that you're working with someone that specializes in your unique challenges as a business owner. And I think that was a bit of an aha. You were already on that track, that path of walking down that path of making that change. But sometimes I find that when we take it out of our own business, like it's so obvious, right? So when I talk about myself, you're like, of course you should just be doing business owners, Amber. Yeah.
And I think one of the gifts that you gave me was the permission to, okay, you can serve this client now, this type of client now. But if you want to look at a different service offering, you can always, kind of bookmark that for Q3 or Q4. So you can allow yourself the time to laser focus on this type of client, knowing that you can always, kind of circle back to that at some point if you choose to.
Yes, yes. And the reason that we say that, right, is because it's a lot of energy to write SOPs, redo your marketing or fine tune your marketing message, update your packaging, your pricing, your offerings. That if you did that across all different types of clients, that project would last forever versus check, done. This person, this type of client that I work with, all of this is in place. And then I know that you do have earmarks for future quarters. And what's exciting is now you get to take all of that that's done, rinse, tweak, and then you're up and going so much faster. It's always the first time you're doing the SOPs and the processes and everything that takes longer. And so if you choose to add a different type of client, it's tweaking and you're done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, there was a couple other things that you said there that I wanted to unpack. And you kept mentioning SOPs. So for those of you listening, SOPs are standard operating procedures. And Robyn didn't have those necessarily before she came working with me. And her team have been working on SOPs. And if you want to share with us, why did you feel it was important to take on the project of SOPs and collaborate with your team to, get all the things out of Robyn's head into an SOP?
Yeah, so actually, we had very basic SOPs, and some of those SOPs were not usable because we were servicing so many different types of clients that they weren't clear about, kind of how we would service the type of client that we're servicing now. So that has become really important because I like to think of it as if one of our team members is out, how does another one of us come into and help with an SOP? And that's why it's important, because if someone's out, kind of who's gonna come in and take that responsibility. But what roadmap are you going to give them is to complete that task. So our team has put like a huge focus on getting the SOPs together so that top level content continues to run. As kind of things happen, you just don't know, and you still want to have a business after, kind of those things happen.
Yeah. Your business was operating well. And I want people to hear this, right? Like the challenge on the inside isn't always the outside. So what that means is clients are taken care of. The team is operating, but a lot of the work that I do is like, at what expense to the business owner, right? Like it's kind of like the duck that's smooth sailing on top and then underneath like paddling. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the SOPs were also so that it took you out of every decision, every day to day, so that you could be working more on your business than in your business because your team had the tools they needed to support you. And so there's also this other layer of freeing you up because of SOPs.
Yes. And I remember, Amber, one of the things that we started, it was a communication SOP. So we had, and it's so funny because I'm so far from this now, but like in the beginning, it was like my one of my team members would constantly ask me, kind of how to communicate something. And one of the aspects of that, why that was happening, is because we were serving several different types of clients. But then even once we narrowed it down, there were still questions. And the process of, okay, let's take this message and let's put it in the SOP for when we have this situation again. And it's so funny, Amber, because it's even hard to remember, that because it's so different now. Like I rarely get messages on how to communicate with a client because we have a huge document, a huge SOP document of possibly every situation you can think of that we've collected over the last 4 months that helps my team support me in those daily interactions with clients, which is wonderful. So they're giving the same level of service and sometimes even better, than I was able to give. And they're getting back to clients. So it's not always me. It doesn't have to always be me. It's them supporting the clients as well. And that's when it feels really great. And that's when you can be really joyful in running an agency. And I hope that you can hear it. It's just a huge difference than when I came to you. I think it was about 8-9 months ago. It's just a huge difference in how it runs. And it's so important to me because I have two little kiddos on the autism spectrum, and between the both of them, they have over 50 hours of therapy each week that they have to be transported back and forth to. And to have that flexibility that I'm able to do that for my kids, it's amazing. It is amazing to be able to run a business, to be able to be joyful in running that in the business. I love this business. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's just great. It's amazing. It's amazing to not get taken off course by a call to come pick up your kid, to know how to navigate, those things that ultimately come up in life. Productivity is one of those things where it's just necessary. And no one teaches it. Amber's teaching it, but you don't learn this type of stuff that has just a huge difference in your life.
Yeah, no, I so appreciate that. I'm grinning ear to ear because that truly is, the gift of business, being an entrepreneur. It does take risk and it takes vision and it takes grit. But then the upside is that if you can figure some stuff out, it brings joy that you have that flexibility with your children and that you get to create your own schedule guilt-free, which is some of the work we've done, right? Mm-hmm. And that you truly are able to, what I heard you say is, we use the word in general productivity, but one of the skill sets that you've learned is to adapt and be agile when things come into your space, right? Like the kids getting called out or someone's sick or there's a change in the schedule, for a lot of people that can just hijack the whole plan and just mess up the whole day or week. And for you, that was really important for you to learn that skill set of hey, reset, replan, retarget, where I'm supposed to be is with my kids, and then I'll be back in the business.
Absolutely. And you helped me so much with that because even when, I don't have it all figured out, but having you as that support, I know I'm only a couple of weeks away. And even, you know what? And that's not even true. Maybe a couple of days away because you have coaching sessions, mm-hmm. on the calls that I can ask you something, I can get back on track. But just what I have learned thus far has just been just a great, kind of baseline for navigating through those situations when things don't go exactly as planned.
Yeah. We're doing broad strokes of the work we've done together over the last, 9 months, but I want to get let's just do one kind of in the nitty gritty of the strategies that you just shared. So one of the things you said was, we worked on your communication SOP. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that I had on my list, let's get a communication SOP for Robyn's team. I believe it came from, the question of, so what are the interruptions and or distractions stopping you from doing your deep mm-hmm. work? Right? So if our goal is to be productive, which is investing your best time into your best activities, which is your distraction-free focused time, there's usually a lot of answers to why that's being sabotaged. Mm-hmm. One of them is that your team was messaging you. Mm-hmm. And that means that a client needs a response right now, and you're not going to disregard a client needing a response. And so you felt pulled. So we take one of those answers and then we create a solution for it. And again, if I remember, this SOP was one of the easiest ones for you to create because I said, don't go create an SOP, just create a document. And every time you answer your team, copy and paste it into the document in real time, right? Because you were already doing that. They were just being lost. You might answer the same question, 2 or 3 times over a couple of months, but it was because it wasn't ever in a place that could be accessed. And I said, mm-hmm. never do I want to see on your to-do list to sit down and write all of these templates and answers. Mm-hmm. I just want you to capture them in real time until they start going away.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to circle back to that so that when we were talking about sometimes it's the simplest strategies, but the most impactful is that's the gold, is to find what was causing and sabotaging the, focused work time. Well, one of that is this thing. How do you fix that? You took action to fix it. And then over time compounded, that's no longer the issue. Now, maybe there's other things that come up as it does for all of us, but then mm-hmm. that becomes another opportunity for coaching. We're like, so now, what needs to be worked on? And we pluck that out and we do that. So I guess, I just really appreciate you opening this all up so that people can get an idea of what coaching looks like, because you sampled me in the course and then you sampled me in Leverage Lab and not everyone has done that. And I feel like sometimes it's a mystery of like, so what does a productivity coach do? Or like, what does that experience look like for you? And so that's why I love to do these case studies and kind of pull back the curtains. One thing that I do want to also talk to you about, because I did some highlights too of some like big wins, because I'm just like so happy with the work you've done. So another win is you finding your own CEO voice, your own business owner voice.
Yes. We did a lot of work there.
Yes. And it was always there. That is my belief. It's always there. And your voice is your voice. But what we explored was what your communication style is with your team members. What's your communication style with your clients? What is it that Robyn needs to show up her best? And how do we communicate that? What does the business need? These are all the types of questions that come up in a coaching session to say, okay, what does the business need? And we identify that. So how is that going to be communicated? Who does that need to be communicated to? And that has been such an evolution. Like you were really navigating through that, in my experience, on my side, just so quickly finding your voice. Can you share a little bit about what did that feel like for you to even think about, why would I need to find my voice with my productivity coach, with my team? Like, why was it important to find your CEO voice, right? It's not like you weren't talking to your team, but like the authoritative, this is what I need, claiming what it is that you wanted in your business with your team. Why was that important for you? And what has that done in your business?
Wow, Amber, that has been truly transformative. So previously, I had a lot of people-pleasing qualities that was shining through my communication with my team, with clients, and we worked through that. And we're still working through that, to find that ultimate CEO voice. But I am so much better, because my thought process before was, Amber, I can't ask someone I pay to do that because I might be bothering them.
These are actual words you said to me. Yes.
I might be bothering them. I can't ask my assistant to work when I'm working, because that might change her schedule. I can't change her schedule when I'm paying her.
Yes.
So, it's been a great transformation of allowing myself to be that leader, to step into that leadership role. And that's beyond, kind of the communication. I think one of our most recent conversations was supporting my team too in reviewing their work, where, kind of this is a full thing. You're a full leader. Not only do you delegate the work, but you have to support your team through reviewing their work so they can support you better in the business. But all of that has been amazing. And I think what the basis of that is being true and honest in what you want. And then once you know what you want, that's part of the work that we did. What do you want, Robyn? Like, how do you want this to look? Not how do you think other people would feel if you have it this way, but what do you want it to look like? And then translating that in a way where you can communicate that to your team members, to your clients, in a confident way. Yes. And that was a lot of the work that we did. And I thank you so much for helping me through that. We're still working through it, but the transformation has been amazing.
Yes. Okay. Well, you're welcome. And I thank you for thanking me for that work. But, look, I asked you to be on this podcast because I'm not going to mix my words here. You are so coachable. You are so actionable. And I mean, we've hit some really, we're not, like I said, we're doing top level of like what our coaching experience has been for privacy, and that it should be a very sacred experience, I believe, between coach and client. But to say this is like, you've shown up to do the work. You've shown up to do the hard work. Sometimes it's like, yeah, Amber got that. And you're like, and other times it's like, I can see like, hey, that feels really hard to me, Amber. You don't say that, but you ultimately either keep processing through it or work it, or we figure out a way that it feels good to you. And then you are so actionable. And then the other thing that I'll say is that you come very prepared to the coaching sessions. And I want to say all of this, like I've said these things to you, Robyn, privately, but I want to say this publicly because when you're thinking about getting coached, you know, you can get coached and kind of just like slide through it, or you can decide like, oh my gosh, somebody's partnering with me, meaning me, your coach, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to make the most of this. And that's what I've seen with you, Robyn. And I am just so proud of the leaps and bounds, the growth that you've done. And one thing that you and I joke about that I say is like, the thing that gets me excited about being a business owner is who I get to be in 5 years. And for Robyn, it's like who she gets to be in 2 weeks and 1 month and a month and a half and 2 months.
Oh, thank you, Amber.
Growing so much is like, it's like, who do you get to be as you're growing in all of these different areas? So, you know, Robyn, that's why I wanted to highlight you. And I wanted to highlight your experience because your challenges are very real challenges that many, if not all of the business owners that are listening to this episode are thinking, oh my gosh, like I have that same challenge too. Like nobody taught me how to speak like a leader or to delegate or to work my email even, right? Or to ask questions about my business. You know, that's actually a running theme also with our session today is that everything started with a question that we put in the middle. In fact, this video, my hands here, I always put it in the middle. So it's like, what's the question that we're putting between you and I in a session that we explore and kind of dive deep into? And sometimes it's been, you know, what can bring you more joyful work? What type of clients light you up? What type of clients are, you know, your most profitable? And what feels broken and what feels like is creating overwhelm and what's sabotaging your private work time. Like those are the questions we put in the middle, and then we explore what those answers could be and then find solutions. And, you know, for anyone that's listening, I would just say if you are challenged with finding those solutions on your own and you want to partner with somebody, I think that coaching either privately or in my group coaching program, Leverage Lab, could be a great opportunity for you to choose to work on your business, not just in your business.
Absolutely.
Which is what Robyn has been doing. She's been choosing to work on her business, not just in her business.
Yeah, you have it absolutely right, Amber.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, but lots of credit to you and you showing up. It takes a partnership, right? We both have to show up to get these kind of results. And I'm so thankful that you were willing to share your experience here today with listeners of Productivity Straight Talk. So why don't you share? I think a great way to close out is like, what do you see your business looking like? Like, can you just share with our audience, like, is it bigger? Is it more streamlined? Are you working less? Like, what's next for top level content?
Yeah. So I see us serving even more clients. Of course, you know, I have revenue goals, but I want this business, like this is not the only business that I would like to create. Like I enjoy blog content, but there's other areas that I want to explore too. And I just love, you know, kind of the development that I have had with top level content and would love to explore other areas of interest. And in order to do that, I just want to get better and better at creating amazing SOPs so that my team can support our clients more in top level content so I can explore even more of the interest and serve even more people.
Yes, that's so beautiful. You know, that is so beautiful. I'm going to say, because when we're in a constant state of overwhelm, it's really hard to dream. And so what you just heard Robyn say was full circle. When she first started working with me, she realized like, hold on, I'm going to go do the sales and marketing to bring in more clients, but I'm already maxed out and overwhelmed. Like it's an equation. I need to fix the overwhelm and the max out of the team so that I can confidently go over here and market and do sales. because that's what the business needs. Fast forward, you've done that, and now you're talking about potentially another business or other passions and explorations, which I find very difficult to even dream of when we're in a constant state of overwhelm. So talk about a full circle moment. Thanks for closing it out like that, Robyn.
Thank you, Amber.
So much for being here, Robyn, and sharing your experience. And look, we're all business owners here listening. And so if they happen to be your ideal client, I bet they can go to your website to find out if they're your ideal client. But how do people find out more about you and connect with you if they want to inquire about your services?
Sure. So the best way is through my website, toplevelcontent.com. We serve SEO agencies and digital marketing agencies in fulfilling content, blog content for their clients.
Excellent. Thank you, Robyn.
Thank you.
After my interview with Robyn, I received an email from her, and this is what she wrote me. Thank you, Amber. And I was reflecting on my time working with you. I think the biggest change that I didn't realize was that I went from working 6 or more hours a day in my business to being able to run a content agency on less than 8 hours a week in my business. That is amazing. And thank you for the opportunity. There's a lot to be learned from Robyn, and, her being able to have these very real, tangible return on investment of both her time and money for her and for her life, being a wife and a mom. And that's just a couple of the titles I know that she wears, as we all wear so many titles. Imagine what type of freedom going from 6+ hours a day working in the business to 8 hours a week working in the business. All of that time that has been reclaimed through many of the strategies we shared in this interview today has allowed her to be more present with her family, more present with her children's needs, more opportunity for taking time off or vacations, and to be working on her business, doing the high-value activities that only she can do, that actually moves the needle forward so that it's propelling her towards her achieving her biggest goals, her biggest dreams of what it is that she can accomplish in her business. Oftentimes, we do not lack the vision. We do not lack the big goals. We do not lack the ambition for what it is we want to create. We lack the time to execute. We lack the time to work on our business while we're in the weeds of working in our business. And so when we are looking to create more time to work on our business, it takes several strategies compounded upon each other to reclaim that time so that you can invest it in what matters most to you. And along the way, the goal is to increase profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most. And that's what I think that you heard Robyn and I talking about today. And I share this with you really from a place of inspiration, right? Like, I want to inspire you. I want to tell you that if you are struggling, that it can be better. And I want you to believe that. I want you to have that hope, because I believe you have something so incredibly special to give the world. And if that doesn't happen because you are robbing the world of your special thing, because there's not enough time and you feel stressed out and overwhelmed and continually asking yourself, why the heck did you choose entrepreneurship? I believe that's a great disservice to this world. So in today's episode, my biggest hope is that you feel inspired, that there is a way and that there is a how, and that you are on this journey as well. All right. So I think the next thing to share with you is that if you've listened to, Robyn, you've listened to me for several episodes, you've been around Productivity Straight Talk for a while, you may be asking yourself, so how do I get extra help? Like, how do I get extra support? How do I get coaching? And there are 2 ways to do that. Number 1 is going to be working with me privately through my private coaching program. And number 2 is going to be through Leverage Lab, which is my business coaching, training, and accountability program. And if you're interested in either of those, you can head on over to my website, amberdelagarza.com/work with me. And both of those options will be there for you to explore. If you want additional help, I would love to hear from you and just see if what I'm offering is a fit for what you need to get you to the next level. I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk, and I sure hope you found today's conversation with Robyn to be not just inspiring, but incredibly valuable. We did share real strategies that we use, and you could use those too. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So that's my straight talk for today. Until next time, have a productive week.